Now we can move on to the most important stance in Shaolin Kung Fu, the horse riding stance, often known as Ma Bu. As you can see, it looks as if you were sitting on a horseback. And sitting is also the word we use when we are in a Kung Fu stance. Before we get into the details of the horse riding stance, let's talk about a very important principle that describes every move we make. It's called differentiating yin and yang. Ready? Okay. Before you move to the left, move to the right. Before you move to the right, move to the left. Before you move forward, move back. Before you move to the back, move forward. So what does that mean? If I want to go to the right, do I need to take a turn to the left before going to the right? No. Differentiating yin and yang at this level deals with shifting your weight. That Kung Fu movements are nice to watch is just a welcome bonus and not one of the aims of Kung Fu. Nevertheless, we always aim to move harmoniously and elegantly. So instead of moving clumsily, we relieve the weight from the leg we're about to move. I want to move my right leg to the right. So I flex my left leg and shift my weight to the left side. Now I step out to about 1¼ to 1½ shoulders width, taking care that my foot is pointing to the north. Once my foot is flat on the ground, I can shift my weight to the right and bring my left foot into a so-called T-step, as it resembles a T. I then sink down a bit and double the distance between my feet with a big step to the left. My second foot is also pointing to the north. My center point is the same as it was when standing upright in the beginning. Once both feet are in place and on the ground, I shift my weight back to the center. Next, I sink down to build a pyramid shape with my legs, while letting my knees gently drift to the outside. In some Kung Fu movies, you might have seen a rectangular shape with the upper thighs being parallel to the ground. It's difficult to be agile in this position, and it creates a lot of unnecessary tension. On the other hand, don't stand like a cowboy. The upper body should be upright. You can check if your hands are at the side of your body. The chest is open, your neck is upright too, and your eyes look straight ahead. Let's sum this all up. The feet are parallel, pointing to the north. In the video, it might appear they are pointing outwards, but that's due to the curvature of the camera lens. Trust me, my feet are pointing straight to the front. I sink down to build a pyramid shape with the knees gently pointing outwards. The body is upright. To get back to my initial position, I need to move my left leg to the right. So I move to the left first. It's like stepping onto a spring. Once the foot is at the center, I sink down to the left and bring my right foot back. Now get up and follow me. Leave the hands aside for the time being so we can focus solely on the legs and the body. Let's use a little trick to find the right distance first. Put your feet together. Pivot on your heels and open up by 45 to 60 degrees. Now pivot on your toes and lastly turn on your heels to have your feet parallel. This usually brings you to the ideal position, but still check yourself using the methods I will explain in the next video. Get back to your starting position, feet close together in Wu Ji stance. Flex your left leg and shift your weight to the left side. Step out to about 1¼ to 1½ shoulders width. That is at the final position of our little trick before. Your foot is pointing to the north. Shift your weight to the right and bring your left foot near into a T-step. Only the toes or the ball of the foot are touching the ground. Sink down a bit, then double the distance between your feet with a big step to the left. Check that both feet are pointing to the north. Shift your weight to the center, then sink down while letting your knees gently drift to the outside. Check that your upper body is upright and your chest open. Your neck should be upright too, and your eyes look straight ahead. Great! You're ready to write now. To get back, shift your weight to the left for a moment, then spring back to where you came from. Sink down to the left and bring your right foot back too. You should find yourself standing upright, back in Wuji again. In my demonstrations, I'm often over-exaggerating so you can better see the movements. It's good if you do so as well initially. Later on, you can gradually reduce the size. The little internal movements will still be there, but they'll become much smaller. Try again now. Feet parallel. Sink to the left. Step out to the right. Shift your weight to the right and bring your left foot near into a T-step. You can step straight or in a small arc. Shift your weight to the center, then sink down and check that you're upright. Shift to the left and spring back to the center. Shift to the left and bring your right foot home. It's important to learn from your mistakes. It's even wiser to learn from someone else's. So let's have a look at the most common mistakes when performing the horse riding stance. Don't drop into the stance. First, put your foot on the ground, then shift your weight. Some schools have the feet pointing outwards. From the Qi Gong perspective, this would drain the energy coming in from above, away, and even just from the physical aspect, it's not advisable to do so. You can test it out yourself. Go to the horse riding stance, turn your feet to the outside. Now, relax. Relax your legs. Truly relax. If you're not cheating and holding back, you will fall backwards. That means you need permanent tension in your upper thighs to prevent you from falling to the ground. The same goes for the front. In the beginning, many people tend to have a hollow back. That's not too much of a problem initially, as the stance training will help with proper body alignment. Nevertheless, there's a good way to decrease the curve bit by bit. Rise up again. Now, while you slowly sink down, relax your lower back and let your pelvis gently tilt back. Don't force it. This would just produce more tension. Just let it move by itself. It's important that you don't push your knees to the outside, else you will find your feet tilting and your weight on the outer edges of your feet. Just let the knees gently move to the outside and distribute your weight evenly across your soles. On the other hand, also don't let your knees bend inwards. It's okay if your knees extend a little over the tips of your toes, but don't do this. Also, avoid overextending your knees forward to help you sink lower. Sinking is good, but not like this. Regardless of what you do with your hands and arms, ensure your chest stays open. And even though you don't yet know why, keep your mouth gently open. Now practice getting into the horse riding stance and back to Wuji several times. You'll receive the next lesson in a year or two, once you've proven yourself worthy to carry on. This lesson is taken from The Entrance to the Chamber of Shaolin Kung Fu, my 6-month online program to help you build a solid foundation in traditional Southern Shaolin Kung Fu. Not only does it provide even more detailed explanation on fundamental stances, footwork and movement principles, but also covers the 2 pillars of genuine Kung Fu, which are neglected or even lost in most schools: namely combat application and developing internal force. May the free lessons of this series benefit your practice and understanding. Subscribe now and follow the links below to visit us at the Shaolin Treasure House.